You could max bid the Royal upgrade system, put in the highest number the form allows, and lose to someone who bid less than half what you did. Not because they got lucky, because the algorithm isn't measuring how much you want the upgrade. It's measuring how easy it is for Royal Caribbean to resell the cabin you'd be leaving behind. Your old cabin is the variable nobody tells you about. And there are 8 more operational facts about Royal Caribbean that work exactly the same way. Designed, deliberate, and almost invisible unless you know where to look. There is a PA announcement that goes out on every ship several times per sailing that is not meant for you. It's a code, and one of those codes, if you hear it, means someone has gone overboard. The people walking the windjammer with clipboards asking if you want to book a specialty restaurant, they are carrying authorization to offer you a discount on the spot. They never mention it first. And the single most actionable thing in this video, 4 words you can say to any of those crew members that unlocks a price they are not allowed to advertise. Most passengers spend their entire cruise not knowing those 4 words exist. 9 things, all operational, all on your next sailing. Subscribe. This channel drops cruise intelligence weekly that saves passengers real money before they ever board. Below the decks you can access Royal Caribbean runs a second ship. Same vessel, completely different world. A crew bar that looks like a pub with mismatched furniture. A buffet that mirrors the windjammer but stripped of every design decision. A crew store. Social spaces for the 1,500 to 2,200 people keeping your vacation running. The gap between crew and guest spaces closes on newer ships. On older ones, it's stark. Air conditioning in crew areas runs warmer. Amenities are functional, not curated. The reason Royal Caribbean has been investing in better crew spaces on newer builds isn't altruism. Crew retention ties directly to morale, and morale shows up in your service experience. Most crew members share cabins. 2, 3, sometimes 4 people in a space size like a standard interior. Rank determines how many roommates you have. Engineers and department leads eventually earn single or double occupancy. One category skips the entire hierarchy. Entertainers. The pub singer, the show performers, they aren't Royal Caribbean employees, they're independent contractors, and is a standard line item in their negotiation. Performers who've been on board for one contract get better accommodations than career crew members who've been with the line for a decade. The staff at the spa, same contractor logic, different employment structure. More on that in 2 sections. Alpha, 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 medical emergency. Bravo, 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 fire. Oscar, 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 man overboard. Echo, 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 docking or mooring failure at port. These go over the PA system without explanation. That's intentional. Crew members across 50+ nationalities need a single language that lands instantly regardless of accent, fatigue, or background. Codes solve that. Crew drill on every single sailing, not monthly, not per ship, per sailing. First day, before passengers board, so every crew member can respond correctly regardless of when the code hits. Alpha is the most common by a significant margin. Medical events on ships are frequent, the passenger demographic skews older, excursions are physically demanding. Most Alpha calls are minor. You may hear 2 or 3 on a 7-night sailing without any of them being serious. Oscar is rare, but it exists, and when you hear it, the crew around you already know exactly what to do. The only code you're briefed on as a passenger is the 7-blast signal, 6 long, 1 short for emergency evacuation. That's in your muster drill. Everything else running over that PA system is a conversation you're not part of. Your balcony isn't private the way you assume it is. Cameras mounted at offset angles have sightlines into multiple balconies simultaneously. Not 1 camera per cabin, but 1 camera covering a zone across several. Motion sensors run alongside them. The purpose is overboard prevention, not general surveillance. Royal Caribbean's booking contract includes a no nudity clause covering your balcony. That contract is signed at booking. The cameras exist within that framework. The broader network covers every corridor, elevator, stairwell, and public space on the ship. But the casino cameras operate under a different protocol entirely. They don't just feed to the ship's security team. They feed live to Royal Caribbean's corporate headquarters in Miami, real time. Shore-based personnel monitoring pattern recognition, compliance, suspicious behavior. The ship's security officer and Miami HQ are watching the same footage simultaneously. When those cameras catch something actionable, it goes to the ship's security officer. Then to a location most passengers never think about, a locked, windowless cabin on a lower deck that can't be accessed from any guest floor. Standard interior dimensions, no windows, lockable from the outside. That's the holding cell. Every ship has one. Adjacent to it on the same restricted deck, a commercial refrigeration unit, the morgue. Not cinematic, just cold storage. The operational model for both is identical. Hold temporarily, transfer at the next port. These ships aren't designed for long-term custody or extended storage. They're designed for triage. There is one item on one specific night where Royal Caribbean enforces a hard limit. One lobster tail per passenger. Lobster night in the main dining room. That's the cap. Enforced, no exceptions. Everything else, every appetizer, every entree, every dessert across every complimentary venue has no cap. Main dining room, Windjammer, Calf Promenade, Sorrento's. You can order one of every appetizer and one of every entree in a single sitting. If something arrives and you don't like it, you order something else. No charge, no limit. Royal Caribbean doesn't advertise this because advertised unlimited dining at scale creates galley strain during peak hours. Passengers who know this use it the way it's intended, trying a second dish, replacing something disappointing, ordering a second entree when still hungry. The reason the lobster limit exists is the same reason everything else doesn't have one. Lobster is the highest cost galley protein at 3,000 to 6,000 passengers per sailing. Cap the one expensive item. Absorb a known cost. The rest of the menu costs less, so the unlimited rule is financially sustainable. That math will make more sense after the resolution. Your cabin steward works for Royal Caribbean. Your main dining room waiter works for Royal Caribbean. The people running the spa don't. Neither does the art auction staff. Both operations are third-party contractors. Royal Caribbean provides the physical space, the passenger traffic, the infrastructure. The contractors staff it, operate it, generate the revenue. The cruise line is the landlord. Royal Caribbean receives a percentage cut. The contractors pay rent in the form of revenue share. This changes how you read the spa experience. The person recommending your next treatment has a financial structure that isn't disclosed in the treatment menu. Upsell dynamics in contractor-operated spa environments are consistent across the industry. The art auction's aggressive sales environment, widely reported by passengers, reflects the auctioneer's commission structure and the contractor's own revenue targets. That has nothing to do with Royal Caribbean's satisfaction metric. None of this changes the quality of a massage. It changes what you do with the recommendations you receive during one. The Royal Up bidding system. Royal Caribbean markets it as your chance to upgrade your cabin by bidding what you think it's worth. Here's what almost nobody knows. The most important number in that algorithm has nothing to do with what you bid. It's the resale value of the cabin you're currently in. Royal Caribbean is simultaneously optimizing two transactions when they consider your bid, what you'll pay for the upgrade, and how much they can resell your old cabin for once you've vacated it. A passenger in a midship balcony who bids $200 on a suite can beat a passenger in a guaranteed interior who bids $600 on the same suite. The better your current cabin is to resell, the weaker the bid you need. The harder your cabin is to move, the more the algorithm penalizes you, regardless of what you're willing to pay. That's Section 7. 4 sections remain. The specialty restaurant discount is in Section 9, including the exact words to say to unlock it. Most passengers spend their entire cruise without knowing those words exist. The nightly show in the theater ends. Walk out into the atrium. A bar act starts within 15 minutes. That's not a coincidence. Production shows are scheduled against the two main dining seatings, early show for late dining, late show for early dining. The immediate effect is crowd distribution. The designed effect is behavioral. A passenger who's been in an entertainment mindset for 45 minutes is the most likely to extend it with a drink at a bar that conveniently has live entertainment starting right now. The sequence is engineered. Dinner, show, bar, additional drinks. That's the standard Royal Caribbean evening at sea, and every element of it was positioned deliberately. Activities during sea days follow the same logic. High-energy afternoon programming drives traffic toward pool bars and adjacent purchase points. The path from most afternoon activities to the nearest bar is short and intentional. The schedule tells you exactly where revenue pressure is highest. The lowest pressure window on the ship, early morning and late afternoon on sea days when programming is minimal and no pipeline is running. One evening breaks this pattern completely by stacking 3 revenue operations on top of each other instead of sequencing them. What that evening is and how it works is in the resolution. The person who bids less wins. That's the counterintuitive starting point for understanding Royal Up. Not always, but structurally, in the algorithm's logic, a moderate bid from a desirable cabin consistently outperforms a maximum bid from a difficult-to-resell one. 3 inputs drive the decision: what you originally paid for your current cabin, what you've bid for the upgrade, and what Royal Caribbean projects they can resell your vacated cabin for once you move out. If your current cabin is a midship balcony on a high-demand deck, easy to sell, premium category, good location, the algorithm has low friction on the back-end transaction. Your upgrade payment is almost pure profit because the cabin you're vacating sells itself. If your current cabin is a guaranteed interior, bad location, assigned late, lowest desirability, it's harder to move. The algorithm penalizes that difficulty against your bid. The practical instruction: before you bid on Royal Up, evaluate your current cabin the way Royal Caribbean would. Midship, mid-deck, standard balcony or higher, bid moderately. Guaranteed cabin, interior, forward or aft obstructed, bid high or understand that the system is working against you structurally. Bidding maximum from a weak cabin position isn't strategy. It's hoping the algorithm ignores its own inputs. CocoCay is staffed by ship crew. Every morning, the ship offloads a significant portion of its crew onto the island to run the beach club, food operations, and water park. A smaller number commute daily by boat from neighboring islands, and a dormitory located behind Thrill Water Park, visible from the waterslide towers, houses a resident crew that lives on the island for the duration of their contract. The reason Royal Caribbean can't offer overnight stays at CocoCay isn't the facilities, it's staffing. That same crew needs to be back on the ship by evening to run dinner service, shows, and evening programming. An overnight stay product would require a separate island resident workforce that doesn't currently exist at scale. The Royal Beach Club at Paradise Island in Nassau operates differently. All workers there are Bahamian residents. No ship crew rotates through. That staffing model wasn't voluntary. It reflects legal agreements Royal Caribbean entered into with Bahamian authorities requiring local employment as a condition of development. The reason the Royal Beach Club feels more locally grounded than CocoCay isn't ambiance or design. It's a legal structure baked into the operating agreement. The cause is contractual, not aesthetic. The crew member walking through the windjammer with a clipboard is authorized to offer you a discount on the specialty restaurants. They will not say this first. The 4 words: what can you offer? That's it. I'm interested. What can you offer? Passengers who ask that question report discounts of 20 to 30% negotiated on the spot. Some crew members can authorize it themselves, others make a brief check before confirming. Either way, the authorization exists. One condition is almost always attached: same day only. The discount exists because they're filling a night with low reservations. They need the table filled today, not tomorrow. The highest opportunity window on any sailing: embarkation day. Day 1. Most passengers haven't settled in enough to think about specialty dining. Specialty restaurants on embarkation day are structurally underbooked. The crew members' incentive to fill tables is at its peak. Their willingness to discount is highest. The lowest opportunity window: the evening described in the resolution. Full occupancy. No incentive to discount anything. If you want a deal at a specialty restaurant, the time to ask is as far from that evening as possible. Loop A. The camera network that bypasses ship security and goes directly to Royal Caribbean headquarters is the casino camera system. Live feed. Miami Q. Every hand, every pattern, every compliance question watched in real time from shore. When something is flagged, it goes to the security officer and then to the locked windowless cabin on the restricted lower deck. Loop B. The one item with a hard limit in the otherwise uncapped dining system is lobster. 1 tail per passenger on lobster night. It's the highest cost galley protein per head at scale. The lobster rule isn't punitive. It's what makes the unlimited rule possible. Loop C. The evening where Royal Caribbean runs 3 simultaneous high-margin operations is formal night, specifically the 7 to 10 p.m. window. Specialty restaurants at full occupancy with 0 discounting. Photographers positioned at every traffic choke point because dressed-up passengers buy photos. Premium beverage choices driven by occasion framing. No other evening on a standard 7-night sailing achieves all 3 at once. That's why the specialty restaurant discount conversation should never happen on formal night. and why embarkation day is the opposite of it. There is a charge that doesn't appear on the booking page, isn't in the cruise contract, and won't show up in any pre-cruise documents. It gets added to your onboard account in the final 24 hours of the sailing. Once the ship docks, there is no recourse. Most passengers don't check their folio before disembarkation. Most passengers don't know what to look for when they do. What the charge is, how to find it, and exactly when to pull up your account before the window closes, that's the next video.